Hey y'all, Jake here, and no, I'm not wearing this mask because I have corona. Instead, I'm wearing it because I came down with something known as the Scott the Woz disease. In my medical report here, symptoms include looking more like Scott, acting like Scott, talking like Scott, and even making videos like Scott the Woz. This mask will protect me from others from turning out like Scott too, so as long as I'm wearing this mask, everyone else should be okay. And luckily enough, the disease only lasts as long as a succinct video essay, so I figured to kill the time, I would make a video on Scott the Woz, and then maybe after that this whole thing will be over. Well, let's get to it, and hopefully after the video essay, this whole thing will be resolved. Today I want to talk about one of my absolute favorite YouTubers of all time, Scott the Woz. For those of you who don't know, Scott Wozniak is arguably one of the biggest names on YouTube talking about video games right now. I say this because just about every week his videos make it on the trending list for the video game category. And he was at one point trending in the United States on Twitter, I guess? I'm not kidding. Ever since his channel began to grow, his personality and content was often compared to JonTron for whatever reason. I guess it was because his formula and charisma looked and sounded something like early JonTron videos, and I get it, but on the surface, it's just kind of funny to me now. But in speaking of early videos, where did this lad start, and how did he get as big as he is now? Well, let's take a look. Scott has stated many times in other videos and interviews that he has a love for making videos, and that's exactly what his first upload shows. It's a relatively cute and simple, albeit long video where he and some friends made a skit about the internet in the late 90s. Ever since then, he created more skits, either by himself or with friends, and in between those, he uploads constant videos on basic gaming topics. But then his videos eventually morphed into longer, more specific, informative pieces on anything gaming, showing off his impressive knowledge of video game history. And I wouldn't call Scott's channel a typical gaming channel either. There's a shocking amount of variety in each upload too, which is something he tries to really go for. For example, he might do one on Mario Kart Super Circuit for the GBA, he'll do one on controllers, an informative piece on topics like Polybius or the Game & Watch series, or every now and then he'll rate which gaming company had the best E3 conference in a certain year. I'm really broad stroking it here, but he discusses literally anything on gaming, which makes his catalog impressive to say the least. I'd argue that these more informative videos shifted into the more cynical territory where, yes, he was still making informative pieces, but he really became skilled at implementing his work with skits that he did with his friends into these gaming videos. Some examples of this include his Madden 08 Christmas special, his Wii Shop mini-series, and a few other random ones where he gets his pals involved, like his Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival video. Ever since his more early uploads, it's safe to say that Scott leans very heavily on Nintendo-related content, whether it's praising the company or absolutely beating the brand to the ground with endless complaining and criticism, which can be very entertaining as he likes to abuse his Wii U and Chibi Robo 3DS copy. This is what personally got me intrigued with Scott's content, since I too have grown up on and adore everything Nintendo, and the fact that he is literally almost the same age as me. I simply couldn't believe it at the time that someone my age, busy in college, was uploading in-depth videos every week, and on content that I could honestly relate to. I remember first discovering his channel in late 2017 when I was watching a lot of Nintendo video game related content, so sure enough, YouTube's algorithm eventually put some of his videos into my recommended, and after watching one video and learning a little bit more about this relatively underground YouTuber at the time, I was hooked, and I was really excited to see his rise to inevitable fame. And I think that's just one of the many reasons people have latched onto his content, because he's young, he's matching the demographic of most viewers that like this kind of stuff, and he's simply funny, like early JonTron in a way. He's also fairly raunchy, yet he doesn't go too far off with his crudeness, as he censors offensive words in every video and has no reason to get out of hand with his speech, as JonTron typically would teeter into that territory with some topics. No! Scott has admitted himself that he likes to make his humor as accessible as possible, regardless of the topic, and it clearly works with minimal context required. Alright, now let's get into Scott's style. What do these videos typically look and feel like? An average Scott the Woz video will usually start with a gag of some sort. Usually it will involve Scott being in front of the camera, or he'll prepare a short skit that sets up the topic. This is then followed by the meat of the video, which will either contain a wealth of information on a certain gaming topic or piece of gaming history, and is usually accompanied by B-roll gameplay footage or B-roll footage of Scott showing off various pieces of video game cases, accessories, consoles, controllers, merchandise, you name it. Scott's got it all. After he finishes his talking points with some cutaway gags throughout, he'll usually bookend his videos with the same gag from the beginning, but in a more conclusive manner, and the video will end with his catchy 8-bit original theme music, giving every video a nice uniform feel. Now, every video doesn't start and end with that kind of gag that I mentioned, but most of them pretty much do. It's very formulaic, but that's what makes his videos work. But what's really cool about all this B-roll footage that I talked about is that it's all provided by Scott himself, from the game recording footage all the way to the gaming memorabilia, making it all the more personal and truly authentic. In an interview for ReviewTechUSA's podcast Exposed, Scott was asked a lot about his process for making his videos, and he makes clear that the myriad of gaming footage he has accrued over the years all belong to him on a massive hard drive, stating that he believes it not only makes his videos more personal, but it makes his editing process more streamlined as well. Hearing this inspired me to do the same when I want to make a gaming video, since it's a smart way to organize and find footage, saving a ton of time looking for specific gameplay footage, since there's a lot of game recordings already out there, and it can be an overwhelming way to find your footage. If you're interested in knowing more about Scott's video making process, the interview that I mentioned with ReviewTechUSA contains a wealth of information on his video making process, thanks to how transparent Scott was during the interview. I cannot recommend it enough if you're a fan of his content, and I will be sure to link that video in the description as well. Scott is also a huge video game collector, arguably one of the biggest collectors on the platform that I'm aware of right now, which I find very interesting given his age and the fact that he's still in college. However, it does make sense that he can afford a collection so big given his immense success on YouTube, and you can kind of track the growth of his collection with the growth of his channel, and so it all kind of makes sense in that regard. Also, in the interview, he did state that he had been collecting for a long time due to his interest in video games starting since his early childhood, something I can also relate to. Both his vast knowledge for video game history and hobby of collecting really add to his style of video game-centric content, making his videos all the more interesting since it's all coming straight from his bedroom. Scott also manages to upload very high-quality videos in this vein every Sunday, and ever since I first subscribed, it still blows my mind that he can come up with a niche gaming topic idea, write it out in a few days, gather all the various footage, and edit it all together by himself every single week. What I love about his process is that it's all done by him. For as popular as he is, you'd think that he would have a full crew that meets at an office to make content every week or something. But instead, Scott will ask his friends to help on videos every now and then with various tasks, but he's made it clear that he doesn't like the idea of hiring his friends or being their boss. And that makes total sense to me. He runs his entire channel all by himself, even if it looks like he's on a team sometimes. It's a very inspiring work ethic to me, and Scott manages to stay consistent with it every single week, all while attending college with very few breaks. And what's really cool about subscribing to Scott's channel is that in every video, whether it's a comedic skit or a niche gaming topic, or a mix of the two, it's always uploaded on a Sunday night. So it gives fans like me something to look forward to every Sunday. It's wonderful. It's really hard to say what the future of Scott's videos will look like, but I don't think that his style or content will really change all that much. The only change I've noticed is his production value, which has significantly improved, but why wouldn't it? He's surely managed to bring himself to the forefront of YouTube's gaming sector, and I don't think he'll be slowing down at any time soon, especially after he finishes through college. I don't think he'll ever shy away from being so biased on more Nintendo-related content, but maybe that's a good thing because it sets him apart from other major gaming channels and also caters to those big Nintendo fans kind of like me. With the whole JonTron comparison thing still shining through as his videos improve on the technical level, I just personally hope that he doesn't let all this new fame go to his head and sell out kind of like JonTron did. As much as I appreciate JonTron, but what makes Scott's videos better to me is that they're real, they're authentic, and they're straight from his bedroom. There's no professional film crew helping him out, he's his own editor, and most of his videos are recorded straight from his home instead of a soundstage laden with elaborate props. Literally every video has Scott sitting in front of his desk filled with paraphernalia referencing past videos and his iconic blue backdrop. It's simple, it's consistent. Scott's videos are authentic, and they remind us that we don't need ridiculous equipment or expensive resources to make it big in the YouTube market. Personally, I just hope he stays true to his word on never hiring his friends if he does have to hire a crew someday, since that might jeopardize his channel in the future. Anyone can make videos and upload them to YouTube, but it takes charisma and passion to make great videos that people can attach themselves to and inspire them to do the same thing. And that's why Scott the Woz's channel is so important to me and many, many other people on YouTube. Okay, everything looks about right in the medical file, and that was about the length of a video essay, so I should be good here, but I'm still ending the video like Scott the Woz. Damn it! How do I get rid of this thing? Guys, thank you again so much for watching our content. We greatly appreciate it. You guys are awesome. Personally here, I'm trying to get more videos out. Preferably, I would like to do every Sunday, kind of like Scott the Woz. Yeah, this is just kind of me rambling. In terms of the podcast, we are still on. We're just in a little bit of limbo right now. Banter for 2 is on hold until Colin gets his new mic in the mail. So we're waiting on that, but stay tuned, listen to those old episodes if you can. Check out all of our older videos on our channel. Check out my short film. Check out Colin's awesome video essays and playlists. Just have fun with our channel. We greatly appreciate you being here, and we're going to do our best to keep at it. So thank you, everybody, for your support. Hope you all have a good rest of your day. Stay safe out there, and just remember to have fun. See you guys.